just don't know.
What I told you, cutter.
People seen it, but they just don't know.
What I told you, cutter.
People seen it, but they just don't know. People seen it, but they just don't know. People,
Let's go.
people seen it, but they just don't know. People seen it, but they.
What's going on? What's going on, y'all? It's your boy, Gani, and we're here on 910 Sports TV once again. So first and foremost, want to thank God for this opportunity to be able to come on this great platform, to have great guests and great co-hosts. But today, my co-host is not here with me today. Dealing with the storm, the Hurricane Helena, knocked out their power. Said they might be down for a couple of weeks. So hopefully he'll be back next week, or whatever on the next show. But anyway, man, like he would tell me, we got to keep rocking and rolling
People
with this
seen it,
thing.
but they just don't know.
What I told you, cutter.
People seen it, but they just don't know. People seen it, but they just don't know. People,
Let's go.
people seen it, but they just don't know. People seen it, but they.
Had a little faux pas going on over here for a second. What just happened? Oh my goodness, this thing ain't going crazy.
People seen it, but they just.
So anyway, we're going to get to our first topic of the week. Our first topic is going to be, basically, we're going to talk about the Devante Adams, Amari Cooper situation. And, that whole rumor situation that's going on with them. So Amari Cooper, basically, Devante Adams and Amari Cooper both are in a situation where they may get traded. Their teams are not doing very well. Amari Cooper, basically, let's start off with Devante Adams. Devante Adams' situation is a little bit different because Devante Adams basically went to the Raiders originally because of Derek Carr being there. And him and Derek Carr were real good friends. I think they played together in college. So they were real good friends or whatever. And so that's why he wanted to go there. And, they eventually traded away Derek Carr. Now, in defense of Devante Adams was a team player. Devante Adams at that point could have asked out, and he didn't. He tried to make it work as much as he could. And the team just never, it never got any better. And then they brought Antonio Pierce along, and for whatever reason, they don't seem to be getting along like you think like a coach and a player should be in this situation. So basically, Devante Adams asked out, asked to be traded. And it's rumored that he either wants to go back to the Saints, where Derek Carr is now, or he wants to go to the Jets to play back with Aaron Rodgers. Now, in my opinion, watching the Jets play, I'm watching them play. I can't put my finger on it. I don't know what's going on with them, why they playing so bad, so poorly, or whatever the case may be. I don't get it, or whatever. You have a franchise quarterback. You have a Hall of Fame quarterback. He's up in age, and he seemed like he still has velocity on his ball when he throws it. But for whatever reason, I don't know if the receiver's not getting open, and he's relying way too much on Garrett Wilson. If you watch the game today, they targeted Garrett Wilson 22 times. You know what I mean? So if you target your wide receiver 22 times, and he's your number one guy, and Garrett Wilson is supposed to be the next up-and-coming player. Just imagine if Joe Burrow would target Jamar Chase 22 times in a game. Jamar Chase might liable to have 250, 300 yards a game. If you look at Sam Darnold down in Minnesota, if he targeted Justin Jefferson 22 times a game, just imagine how many points, that how many catches this guy would have, and the impact he would have. So for Aaron Rodgers to target his number one receiver 22 times, that's a pretty good receiver, and you only muster up, I think it was like 17 points, 20 points, whatever they had. I think the final score was 23-17 or whatever. And so for you only muster up those many points, and really when they got to 17, it was really because of a bad mistake on Sam Darnold's fault. He made a bad throw at the wrong time. So if it wasn't for that, they probably wouldn't even had 17 points. So I don't think that's necessarily the best fit for Devante Adams to go to. I think the Saints may be a better fit because they got a Chris Olave, they got Alvin Kamara, they got the other, I think his name, got the other receiver that was lighting the Cowboys up. They got him. So they got weapons that I think that would, if Devante Adams went over to the Saints, would better suit his skill set, and he could fit right back in with Derek Carr, and I think that would make them a whole lot better in what they got going on. Like I said earlier, I was saying before, I said, like, with Washington, I wouldn't mind seeing, if we picked up Devante Adams, don't get me wrong, we ain't wouldn't be mad at us. But at the same time, I don't know if we're going to mess up that chemistry we got. We do need a second receiver, like a true bona fide number two. But, we're doing pretty good with what we have right now, and I don't want to mess up the flow of Jane Daniels trying to fit, like, especially a superstar receiver when you already got one that you got to feed, and you just got him going. So the last 2-3 games, we just not getting Terry McLaurin going. So I wouldn't want nobody on that level to come on in. Now Amari Cooper is a different story. The reason why I would rather have Amari Cooper, because Amari Cooper he's not a diva type receiver. He's not one of the receivers that's going to be crying about how many balls he's getting a game and all that kind of stuff. He's going to come in and play his part and do what he got to do or whatever. And he's going to be more of a team player to fit in, and whatever catches he get, he's going to get. Because if he's not complaining with Deshaun Watson, he ain't going to complain, because Deshaun Watson is straight trash. Like, Deshaun Watson looked terrible. Like, it don't even, like, put it to you like this. I understand my team and who we are. Deshaun Watson got my Washington Commanders looking like the 85 Bears defense out there today. I mean, he looked bad. And so I wouldn't wish no receiver on Deshaun Watson right now. I don't know what's going on with him. He lost all confidence in his game totally. He doesn't even make decisive decisions when it comes to like short passes. Forget the long stuff. Just a regular out route, a slant route, curl route, whatever. Deshaun Watson ain't even confident in those type of plays. You know what I mean? And everything he throws seems like it's getting batted down, or he's like a second too late on all his throws. That's why that's a sign. Like, when your ball's getting batted down by the defender, and the defender is jumping your routes, that means, for one, you probably getting the ball out too late, and two, you're just not confident in what you're doing. And Deshaun Watson is totally you know who Deshaun Watson remind me of? Watson remind me of, like, Ben Simmons. When Ben Simmons kind of lost all his confidence in his game and would stop shooting the ball and stop just doing anything. That's what Deshaun Watson is reminding me of right now. He's like a player who lost. He's like a man with no island. And I hate to say this or whatever, but I'm just gonna keep it a bean. A lot of time when a person has something that they attach to, and that makes them tick, and you take it away from them, it takes away from who they are. So whatever he was doing with those women and those brothels and whatever, or those massage parlors or whatever he was going to, when it got taken away from him, he ain't been the same. He ain't been the same. You know what I mean? I don't know what it was, but those type of massages he was getting, and maybe he was getting too handsy or doing whatever he was doing with the women. I understand all that. But whatever that was making Deshaun Watson tick, and they took it away from him, he's not the same player no more. Or whatever. He looks totally lost out there. So I think Amari Cooper, they need to get him out there quick, fast, and a hurry. He's too good of a receiver to be in that situation. He's probably not even going to ask for a trade. They just going to trade him because they don't want to keep paying him all that money. Because the thing about Devante Adams' money, I think Devante Adams, he still owe like 72 million, but it's not guaranteed money. You know what I mean? His contract is already up on the guaranteed side, so they only got to pay him that money anymore. So we'll be right back on 910 Sports TV. Take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Okay, we back here on 910 Sports TV. So basically, what I was gonna say. So we're gonna move on to the next topic or whatever. Our next topic is we're gonna get into some college football, and so I'm gonna talk about my Miami Hurricanes. Y'all, I'm so excited right now to be a Miami Hurricanes fan. Like, I have not been this excited about sports because my Miami Hurricanes is 6-0. The Washington Commanders is 4-1. And so I'm super excited right now because I don't even know what to do with myself. I'm like a kid at Christmas time, or a kid, you take a kid to one of them toy stores in the mall and let them run around. That's the way I'm right now. I don't know what to do with myself because I'm gonna keep it a beam with y'all. Last night, I drove from Atlanta, Georgia, to Dallas, Texas, late yesterday, and it was like 11 and a half, 12-hour drive. So straight through, I get to my room, go shower, get me something to eat. Now, when I come back to watch the game, the score is 38-18, or 35-18. By the time I kind of settled down, like, man, I don't even want. And I think the TV was in my hotel room, it wasn't picking up the game. So I was going. So no, I'm looking at my phone, and the score is 38-18. It's like 10, 11 minutes to go in the game. It's already like 1 o'clock in the morning because that game came on mad late. Came on at 10. It was a 10:30 game. So I was an hour behind, so it wasn't too bad for me. It was like 12:15, 12:30 on my end. But it's still, I was tired, driving all day, drained. I was like, man, we done lost this game. I figured we was gonna lose the game anyway. I thought we was gonna lose the game because of the fact that we had to travel from the West Coast to the East Coast. And for anybody who's never flew before, basically to fly from the West Coast to the East Coast, the jet lag that on a plane is a lot. You know what I mean? Especially if you're not used to that climate. So for Miami to go from Miami to California and have to play a night game at 10:30 at night, that's a lot. Especially the fact that Miami just played Virginia Tech last week in a high, like, emotional game where they had to come back and win that game, and it was a rivalry game. Now think about you win a big game like that, then you go back on campus and everybody praising you and telling you how great you are, and this, that, and the third. Then you got to turn around and fly all the way on the other side of the country to play a California team they're not the greatest team or whatever, but they capable of beating a lot of teams in college football. They are a capable team. You got to think this is one of the programs, Marshawn Lynch. This is his alumni. He's alumni of California, of the California Bears. I think Golden Bears, I think is what they call. But anyway, and it was a high stakes volume. I mean, the crowd was, like the crowd in that game was real. High energy is what I want to say. High energy game for California, and they pretty much did what they wanted to do the first 3 quarters, and then Miami buckled down. I think they had to get their sea legs about them because they didn't come out flat. They came out ready to play. They scored first, went up 7-0. But the one thing that worries about me, Miami, is their defense of line. They can pressure the ball. They got great edge rushers. Ruben Bain came back yesterday, so they got great edge rushers. The problem with them is they can't stop the running game. You know what I mean? They kind of it's kind of funny because they kind of remind me of the Dallas Cowboys. Like, Dallas Cowboys got Michael Parsons, they got DeMarcus Lawrence and all that. They can rush the passer. But if they get in a game where a team just wants to run the ball a lot, they can push Miami around a little bit. So that kind of worries me a little bit when it comes to that, because they can score with anybody. Because Cam Ward, to me, Cam Ward is the best quarterback in college football. Now, Jacob was telling me yesterday when I was saying, man, if Cam Ward don't win the Heisman, if they keep winning, something wrong. He said, well, it'll probably be Shador. And be able to trust me, I love Shador Sanders. I think Shador Sanders is, to me, I don't think you can go wrong with Shador Sanders or Shador Sanders or Cam Ward in the draft. I don't think you go wrong with neither one of them. But I would choose Cam Ward because I like his poise a little bit more. Both of them have great poise. They're very confident in their game. I might slightly go Cam Ward a little bit, but at the same time, I'm not sure because Shador Sanders, I think Cam Ward may be a little bit more accurate at times, especially on his deep ball. But I think you can't go wrong with neither one of them. And then that's the thing about it is they'll probably one of them will probably end up in the Raiders. The other one maybe end up with somewhere like Jackson. I mean, the Giants, a team like that. So I believe that'll be their probably fate is the Raiders and probably unless Aaron Rodgers retires, maybe the Jets they keep losing. But I would say the Giants or the Raiders would probably be more. And the Giants would not be that necessarily a bad look. And I'm going to tell you why. Because let's just say Shador Sanders or Cam Ward went to the Giants. You got Malik Neighbors. And Malik Neighbors, I'm telling y'all ain't seen this young man play. He is the truth. He's next. He's next. He's next to be in that top 10, top 5 range of wide receivers or whatever. So anyway, let's go into the next game. The Alabama-Vanderbilt game. When I seen that Vanderbilt went up early and they was up like 14-0 early, then they went up 23-7. All I kept thinking to myself was that Vanderbilt needs to find a way to keep scoring because if they don't, Alabama's going to come back and win this game. And the thing about it was, and I said this, I didn't really speak on it or whatever because I didn't get a chance to speak on it, and I wish I did. But I was thinking to myself, when they made Alabama the number 1 team in the country, I said they're not deserving of it. Yeah, they beat Georgia, but they've watched that game last week. Georgia made it way. They came back on Alabama too easy. And everybody was saying they might have took their foot off the gas or this, that, and third. But the old Alabama team, if they would have had Georgia down under Nick Saban down by 30-7, the final score would have been 45-21 or something like that. They wouldn't allow Alabama the Georgia to get back in that game if that would have been under Nick Saban. So it let me know a couple of things. One, of course, we know they're missing Nick Saban, but two, they were getting dominated. So Vanderbilt had the ball 42 minutes. Alabama had the ball 18 minutes. So that means they lost in the trenches. That means the Alabama big boys, the meat potato boys, wasn't doing nothing yesterday. And Vanderbilt was so proficient with the running game, they didn't even have to really throw the ball. I think the quarterback threw the ball maybe 15 or 20 times in the game. So they didn't even have to run. They didn't have to throw the ball that much. And they still put up 40 on Alabama. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it was just one of those perfect storms, perfect game plans, whatever. But it also showed me that they're not number 1. Because first of all, Alabama's not better than Ohio State and Texas, from what I've seen. Now, of course, if they all make it to the playoffs, then we may find out something different. Now, my theory is on the whole thing, and I've always said this for years, and it's kind of always made me mad with the SEC and college football. And so they basically, because Alabama brings so much revenue to the game and was such a big winning program for so long, that basically they kind of push them to the front of the line every time. So they push Alabama to the front of the line. And so under Nick Saban, I get it, but now you can't keep pushing Alabama to the front of the line just because you want them to be the best player team in the country at the end of the year so you can sell more TV revenue. And because Alabama's not deserving of being number 1 right now. Now, if they get it back, they get it back. But like I told my guys a couple of years ago, Steve on KB, shout out to Toe to Toe show. I told them a couple of years ago, I said, now that the NIL came into play, it's a whole new ball game because now Alabama and Georgia can't dominate recruiting every year because a lot of these players gonna stay home. Because if I can make my money and still be at the crib, why should I leave? Especially when I'm 18, 19 years old. If I can still be around my mom and my family, get home cooking every day, and I can make 100,000, 200,000, maybe even $1 million, and stay at the crib around my friends and my family, why would I go all the way across the country to Alabama? You know what I'm saying? If you ever been to Alabama, you ever been to Tuscaloosa, ain't nothing out there. So why would I go way over there if I can just stay home and do what I got to do at home? You know what I mean, or whatever, and be a hero at the crib. You know what I mean? That's like a player's dream to do that. So anyway, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back here on 910 Sports TV. Okay, we back here on 910 Sports TV. So that's kind of my whole thing on what happened yesterday, or what we see in college football when you're seeing a lot of these teams that shouldn't be losing games that you feel like in college football they're gonna win. Because like they said, it probably may not be no undefeateds. So I think what and see that lets you know college football seen this coming. That's why they made this 12-team playoff, because they know they see it coming. They seen that train coming down the track where these average teams, these mid majors, these teams that normally couldn't beat the big boys is getting better. It's just like in college basketball. Don't be surprised at some point you see a mid-major basketball team in college basketball win a national championship. Yeah, right now Connecticut is dominating, but don't think that's gonna last forever. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be one of those other mid-majors that have 3 or 4 year players that's gonna come in, and then one and done players can't beat them. You know, one and done players ain't gonna be. It's almost like how you see in the Olympics, where you see they slowly but surely getting better and better and better, or whatever, and then so you're starting to see it. And the same thing gonna happen in college football and basketball. Those teams that always were getting the brakes beat off of them. Now you're gonna see schools. They not gonna want to schedule some of these teams no more, because when an Alabama and a Georgia schedule a Bethune-Cookman or somebody, that's to help them out. But at the same time, they expect to beat Bethune-Cookman 50-0. So now when you see a FAMU, a Bethune-Cookman, or certain schools going to some of these big boy stadiums, they may not lose as bad as they once were, or they may even get a couple of upsets here and there. Not necessarily those teams. I'm just giving you an example of teams that are Alabama or Georgia or Clemson or somebody expect to blow the doors off of, and they can't do it no more because these teams are getting better. And these big boy teams, they're not getting all the recruits. So they're going to get their normal starting lineup type recruits. You know what I mean? They 5-star recruits. Alabama, Clemson, Georgia, all of them going to still get their 5-star recruits. But they're not going to get the depth. So now if your number 1 receiver gets hurt, number 2 receiver gets hurt, you're not going to have a boatload of players behind them waiting. Because players in this era is not going to wait for somebody else to graduate to get their turn. That's why you see players play at 2 and 3 schools. Now they're slowing it down a little bit where you can't transfer as quick as you once was a couple of years ago. But at the same time, if I'm a number 1 recruit in the country and I know it's a quarterback ahead of me and he 3, and he only a freshman himself or a sophomore, and know he gonna be there another year or two, I'm not waiting. That's how they're thinking. I'm not waiting. I'm not going to compete. Most of these players not trying to compete. Once they compete in training camp and in spring training or spring games or whatever it is, spring practice, and they don't get the job, a lot of these players not going to stay. That's why everybody looking at like what's his name, the Manning kid down there in Texas, and they're like, God, they couldn't believe he stuck around, because he could have went to anywhere in the country and started today. But he stuck around. He wanted to play with Texas. He know Quentin Ewers is about to be out of there. It's going to be his team next year. And so he stuck around. But most players are not doing that. Most players are not sticking around 3 years waiting for somebody else to graduate to start. They just not going to do it. So that's why you're seeing a lot of parity in college football the way you're seeing it right now or whatever. So it is what it is. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and jump into the NFL games. And so, I'm gonna start like I did last week when I started from talking about the Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints game. That was a real good, entertaining game. It could have went either way. In that, not the Saints. I'm tripping. It was the Atlanta Falcons and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That game could have went either way. Um, So one thing I will say, I'm gonna give Baker Mayfield his kudos. So he definitely has improved a lot over the last couple of years. Now the thing about it's crazy. It took Kirk Cousins basically to go to Atlanta to start winning primetime games. I think he's played two primetime games this year already. He won both of them. And then last week he threw for 500 yards in an overtime game against Tampa Bay on Thursday night. And so thing about it is Kirk Cousins has always been capable of winning of playing big games. But I always told people, I said when he was at Washington, what frustrated me so bad when he was at Washington, it was like I kind of put it to you like this. It's like when you a teenager or you younger and you with a girl and she lets you kiss and hug and touch and do all the stuff to her. But then when it's time to get in that, you go hit, she won't let you hit. It's be like that's the way it was with Kirk Cousins. Like he gets you all the way down to the red zone, maybe get you within the 5, goal to goal, and then he always will mess it up. He'll throw a bad ball, or you have to kick a field goal. He'll fumble or throw an interception or do something crazy. And you be so frustrated with him because you got a chance to win these games, and we couldn't do it when him at the quarterback. That's why I said I don't know who Kirk Cousins' agent is. Whoever his agent is, I would love to have his agent because that Joe, I ain't gonna say he been stealing money. You know what I mean? But at the same time, bro, he done got like 3 contracts with like 40 million. Now, I don't think I can say, like I was telling Jacob, I said the reason why I think Kirk Cousins is able to keep getting all these bags is because he don't go out and ask for 50, 60 million. He knows his value. You feel what I'm saying? Like a lot of these quarterbacks, like they think their value is bigger than what it is. And Kirk Cousins always understood his value. That's why he was able to get guaranteed money, not just 40 million a year, where it was like, oh, well, you get a $250 million contract, but only 150 guaranteed. No, he get all his money because he understands. So he'll go, instead of him going for 50, 60, he'll say, well, I get 40, but you got to give me the whole 40. You got to give me the whole 4-year contract, 5-year contract. You got to give me the whole thing. Where I think if most players thought like that, then they would, they basically, it's not like NBA where NBA all your money guaranteed. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're a star player, all your money guaranteed. So it ain't even like a average player on a basketball team, all their money guaranteed. Football not like that. So when you see a 4 or 5-year contract, only the first 2 years is only what's got to be paid out. The last 2 years of the contract is iffy. You know what I mean? That's why it's all the time you see players get cut or traded or they have to go and get a new contract. That's what happened with Trent Williams. Trent Williams had like a 2-3 year contract, but none of the money was guaranteed. So he like, I'm not paying another down. I'm not playing another down till I get a new contract. And a lot of people who don't understand contracts in the NFL didn't understand that. Like, well, if he got money left on his contract, why don't he just play it out? Because he didn't have all that money wasn't guaranteed or whatever. That's just like with certain players. When I was looking at certain receivers, I think it was who was it? Justin Jefferson was about to come in, or Jamar Chase was only gonna make like 4 or 5 million, 3 million, or something like that coming into this season. So he wanted his money. When you putting up them type of numbers, I get it. Yeah, I want my money. You know what I mean, or whatever. So I get why he wanted to, try to get more money out of them or whatever. But anyway, what we're gonna do is gonna take another quick break or whatever here on 991 Sports TV, and we're gonna continue to talk about these games. We'll be right back. Okay, we back here on 911 Sports TV. And the next game was the Jets and the Vikings. Like I said, man, I watched that game a little bit this morning. And the thing about it is Aaron Rodgers he don't look right. He don't look the same. He looked like he might be a step behind on. He still got a velocity on his ball, but he just like he might be a step behind on his throws. or like I don't know, he's not on the same page with his receivers. He had to rely too much on Garrett Wilson, and they still only scored 17 points. And so that wasn't necessarily the best look in the world. And we watched the game. Vikings were down there trying to give them the game away, and they still couldn't take it at times. Um, um, so the Panthers and the Bears, I think what's going on with Caleb Williams is he's starting to understand the game is starting to slow down for him a little bit. He was 20 for 29, 304 yards, 2 TDs today. So I think what happening is he got the ball. DJ Moore, him, they seem to got chemistry going. So I think even though against the Panthers, I do think Caleb Williams is starting to show signs that he's starting to understand the game more, starting to slow down for him. So that was a good win for them today, even though against a sorry team. But any team can be any team in the NFL. I don't care how sorry you are. We've seen that time and time again. So it's not like college football where you expect you have to win. These teams get upset all the time in the NFL. So it's a different beast. Well, next game was my Commanders and the Bears. I mean the Browns. Like I said, Deshaun Watson looked like he needed to retire today. Deshaun Watson looked terrible. My Washington Commanders looked like the '85 Bears. They looked like the old one. There was the old one Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense out there today. That's the way we look today. We look way better. We should be looking on defense right now. I'm telling y'all, like, yeah, Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne and certain players. Frankie Louver, that was a great pickup that we got from the Panthers. They were saying one of the old Panther players was saying that basically that Frankie Louver was their best player, and losing him was worse than some other players that they have lost. But yeah, Frankie Louver is a beast on it as a linebacker. Well, that was a pleasant surprise. I never really knew who he was, and then I heard about him in spring training and what training camp, how good he was looking then. But to see him in action every week and how he dominates, because I was thinking like Bobby Wagner was going to be like our London Fletcher, like London Fletcher when he was at Washington years ago, where he was going to make all the tackles and all the plays. But this Frankie Louver is our London Fletcher. He's our, not to say he's on that level, but he's our Ray Lewis. He's that type of, he's that guy that just makes stuff happen. To make, he makes an impact in these games. So that's a pleasant surprise. But for us to beat the Browns the way we did, I was extremely happy, like, or whatever. So the Dolphins and the Patriots, all I'm gonna say is, and I've said this, Tua is, he don't get enough credit for how good he is. He's not the greatest quarterback in the world, but he's better than what people try to make him out to be. They try to make him seem like he's not that good. And I understand he has the concussion issues and I think he had like a broken, well, I think it was a shoulder or something in college or whatever. I forgot the exact injury. I think it might have been a shoulder or arm or whatever it was he had in college. But at the same time, Tua is a very accurate quarterback. He's a very good quarterback. And the Dolphins are seeing that now. I know Tyreek Hill got to be very frustrated because he's not getting those 100-yard games right now. He's struggling to get the ball, for them to get the ball to him. And he's a fast receiver in the game. They can't get him the ball. They did a little bit better as far as getting him the ball today. But at the same time, I know he's probably thinking, please, Tua Harry, come back now. They put him on a 4-game IR. When you go on IR in NFL, you have to sit out for 4 games. That's mandatory. So I think he's been out 3. So I think he has 1 more game that he can come back. They saying that he's already good to go, but by the letter of the law of NFL, when you get on IR, you have to sit out 4 games. But they were saying that he already pretty much ready to go. So he should be back. I think it's 1 more game because I think they had the one quarterback that he got hurt, then they brought. Yeah, so I think it was the 3rd game he's been out. So I think 1 more game that he can come back, and that's probably a good thing they got the win today, or whatever. Because with him missing 1 more game, they probably not gonna beat the Patriots. Is not that good of a team, so they was able to slide through on this one, but they ain't gonna be able to keep doing that against other teams or whatever. So anyway, the next game we have is the Colts and the Jaguars. All I'm saying is I don't know what's going on with Trevor Lawrence. They won today, but man, Jaguars might win about 3-4 games this year. Like they defense is terrible. They seem like they it seems like it's always like a struggle for them, like just to score and like the day they did pretty good, but I just don't see like, the Colts is a trash team. And I said this when Anthony Richardson was in college. I said he's gonna struggle in the NFL. They tried to make him seem like he was the greatest thing, like he's gonna be so great, and he's when he gets to the NFL and this, that, and the third. And I said, if you struggle with your accuracy in college, you ain't gonna just get new game accuracy in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? He threw the ball like Jay Reed was shooting the guy shooting on in too deep. That's the way he was throwing the ball in college. And I was shocked when he got drafted so high. And yes, he came in last like at Game Busters, had a great first season, first few games before he got hurt. But he relies a lot on his legs. He's a big quarterback like Cam Newton, and he relied a lot on on that and whatever. And now that people done kind of had a chance to game plan for him and scheme up for him, they seeing what his real struggles are and his weaknesses are, and it's coming to light. So I can't take nothing away from the Jaguars winning today. I just can't. You know what I mean? But anyway, the Bills and the Texans, the Bills threw that game away. Point blank, period. If you'd have seen what Josh Allen did in the fourth quarter, the Bills were down at the 3-yard line, and Josh Allen threw two bombs, like 40-yard passes, didn't connect. On the last play, tried to throw like a 20-yard pass, didn't connect. It was only 41 seconds left. They only ran like 10 seconds off the clock off of those plays. Houston got the ball at midfield, basically, and was able to run one play and kick a field goal. So Josh Allen pretty much blew the game. You know what I mean? If I were the coach, after he threw that first bomb, I said, look now, we run the ball, let's go to overtime, don't worry about it. And they just kept letting him chunk the ball up, and they end up losing the game. So, I mean, the Texans, to me, is a top 5 team in the NFL, and they're going to even be better when they get Joe Mixon back because C.J. Stroud, he's just going to keep getting better and better. And I told y'all, everybody was singing the Bills' praises in the first 3 games, but I said, coming into this season, I said, Josh Allen going to struggle. I don't care who you are. Only person we've seen still be able to win at a high level and lose talent like that has been Patrick Mahomes. But that's not everybody can't. You can't lose your 1 and your 2 receiver. So that'll be like, you think, okay, let's just put it to you like this. Let's just say Patrick Mahomes would have lost Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. It's one thing to lose a Nicole Hardman or lose like other players, other receivers. But if you lost Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, I almost promise you right now they wouldn't be back-to-back champs. I don't see it happening. I don't see that happening. Him to lose both of them. You know what I'm saying? And the way Travis Kelce looking right now, shoot, who knows what's going on. They definitely might need to go after Amari Cooper or Devante Adams. Whatever, because they got Pacheco out, the running back. Rashid Rice is out for a minute or whatever. Marquise Brown is already gone until January. You might well say he gone for the season. So I don't see them. They definitely need to do something to get more weapons out there for Patrick Mahomes or whatever. And then Travis Kelce looked like, see, that whole Taylor Swift thing. All right, he gonna look like he was one of them Kardashians. That whole Taylor Swift thing. See. That's why I ain't gonna say like a woman need to stay in her place. I ain't gonna say it like that. But what I'm saying is, in this situation, it was just too much shine put on her, and then he started to do commercials and do all this stuff, and he got like $150 million podcast or whatever he signed deal, and that could be a sign that maybe he's not as passionate about the game anymore. It may not just be a coincidence that he might be getting older. He ain't get that much older since the time they won the Super Bowl till now. He ain't got that much older. You know what I'm saying? So I just think it may be other distractions going on with him, and he may not be loving the game no more like that. It's almost like you ever watch that movie Major League. It might be a situation like that, but who knows? But anyway, I'm gonna take a quick break, real quick, and come back and talk about a few more things, and we're gonna wrap this thing all the way up. Okay, I'm back. I'm back here on 910 Sports. Real quick, shout out to Village Global Network. Shout out to Zeno FM, our affiliates, our executive producers, Kimmy K and Senior G. Um, Also, shout out to Independent Chicks, to T Dub Entertainment. Shout out to all our different countries: Germany, Africa, Russia, New Zealand, uh, British Columbia, basically hold us down, and we have platforms with or whatever. So I just want to shout out all those people. So real quick, we're gonna finish going through these games so we can wrap up out of this thing. So like I said, Ravens and Bengals was a great game. Um, the Bengals, I don't know that they don't look like a type of team that's ready to win a championship. They can't stop a cold. They can't stop anybody. Joe Burrow got to play hero ball. Him and Jamar Chase and T Higgins every week for them to win games. So I don't think that's going to be something they can sustain. They'll probably start to win a few more games, but who knows? Like I said, it's the NFL, so anybody can be anybody. Everybody could just look at their schedule and say, "Oh, they're supposed to beat this team. They're going to beat this team." That's not necessarily guaranteed. You can't just say that just because it sounds good. They still got to go out and play the games or whatever. So so who knows how that's going to turn out over the long haul. Um, and so after that, we got the who we had next. Well, we had the Raiders and the Broncos. Who cares? Bo Nix, he looked decent. Like I told about the Raiders earlier, they're trash, so they don't matter. 49ers and the Cardinals. I'm actually surprised that the 49ers is losing the games the way they losing. They had a 13-point lead, had a control of this game, and lost it in the fourth. And of course, they got a lot of injuries too. With Christian McCaffrey being out, Debo being out, they got a lot of injuries. So they'll probably get it together, but right now they're looking kind of suspect. The Seahawks and the Giants, it is what it is. Two sorry teams. I didn't really watch the game like that. To be honest with you. Packers and Rams. Jordan Love, like he's starting to get himself together. So that's a good game. That was a good game there. Or whatever. So definitely was a pretty good game earlier. And last but not least, right now the Cowboys and Steelers is playing. I actually got the TV game on right now. I'm kind of peeking over there a little bit. You know what I mean, watching it back and forth. But the Cowboys, I ain't realized they had so many injuries coming in. They had DeMarcus Lawrence on IR. Michael Parsons was hurt today. I know Brandon Cook was on IR, but I didn't know they had so many injuries, or whatever. But this game they may not win this game, so they better hope they get these players back because they already wasn't the greatest team on offense anymore anyway. So who knows how that's gonna be? But anyway, y'all, I appreciate y'all coming on, checking us out another week. Or whatever. Y'all keep following us. Hopefully my brother will be back next week, Jacob, and we can keep this train moving. Just real quick, a quick public announcement real quick. I got another show that's coming. It's called The Breakdown. It's a music show where we're gonna be breaking down different albums and music with me and DJ Shu. That's gonna be coming real soon, sooner than you think actually. Real soon. So y'all just be checking for it. But anyway, y'all have a blessed and wonderful weekend. Thanks for being patient with me today, and continue to follow us, follow us, follow us. You know what I'm saying? And if you wanna if you want to interview, hit me up on 95 South podcast at gmail.com or whatever, and I'll get you on as soon as I can. All right, let's go. We out of here.